Huh?
Yeah. Good
She's
morning.
more awake now. Yesterday she fell asleep. I was so boring. We're reading my book, Thriving at Nature's Pace. It's a new approach to climate change. And we're going to be talking about the trust ledger, basically how blockchains can be used to help in this new approach. So we've been reading about halfway through now. That's kind of how far we've got. So that's actually quite an achievement for me. And it's lovely because I get to spend a few minutes every day together
Yeah.
with mum in the morning, have a
Yeah.
little bit of a chat, and then I run off.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Thriving at Nature's Pace, please recommend the book to people. Even if you don't get to read it yourself, it's okay. Just tell them I've heard about this 91-year-old mother who's been reading about this book on climate change. It's called Thriving at Nature's Pace. So if my mom can read it, they can too.
Yeah.
So anyway, uh, the trust ledger, blockchains. A married couple doesn't need a relationship police to make sure their partner is not cheating. The relationship stands because of trust in that old saying, till death do us part. And that was with my mum and dad actually, by the way. And he passed away a few years ago, uh, just just at the second half of COVID. Or is it that saying is a revelation of trust? That's the thing. What makes till death do us part is the willingness to face uncertainties together. That comes from trust that each party can trust the other to do the same. Where does such trust come from? One answer is that there have to be incentives. There have to be benefits for people involved to stay involved. What prevents people from cheating with Thrive contracts is that they bring personal benefits. With the economics, when the economics is right, the benefits flow naturally. They become self-reinforcing as the emergent economy develops. The participants will see that everyone is indeed getting something from their involvement, and that allows each person to trust others. Those who are not yet participating will see that they are missing out. In the approach imagined with Thrive contracts, there is an economic benefit for all the participants. Existing oil, gas, and coal owners are paid for their oil, gas, and coal. Investors use the value of keeping oil, gas, and coal in the ground to raise funds from those who appreciate it. The money to buy the Thrive contracts goes to supporting innovations for a future without oil, gas, and coal. Nature and people both benefit from having oil, gas, and coal kept in the ground, and the Thrive coins make all that tangible to people who use them for goods and services. This mechanism works in the case where Thrive contracts are sold to nature for Thrive coins. However, Thrive contracts are about choice. That choice includes using Thrive contracts to supply oil and gas and coal. That is how a roadmap can form. How can people use them to extract oil and gas and coal also benefit? This happens when people know which oil, goods and services are made with oil and gas and coal supplied through Thrive contracts. That allows them to be rewarded to reward those businesses by spending their money with them. This is where blockchains come in. Make digital currencies, including Thrive coins, possible and were invented 20 years before the advent of digital currencies. They allow tracking and tracing to happen in a fully decentralized fashion. That is, there is no need for a centralized intelligence agency to keep tabs on everything. Each process can update what is happening and everybody will know. And because everybody knows, it becomes very difficult to fake. Once an action has happened, it cannot be erased. Tracking and tracing like this are important parts of the aviation industry. Aircraft companies rely on in-depth auditing of every component that goes into an aircraft. The history of each widget is carefully logged to make it possible to be sure of its authenticity. Blockchains are particularly powerful tools for such auditing. They are digital ledgers that provide a record of all activities associated with any particular item. They are also decentralized. There is no need for a master copy. That means each time an action takes place, the ledger updates automatically and is verified across all copies. That makes every copy the master copy and makes it almost impossible to corrupt or erase. The rules of the updating are autonomous. Each process can make the updates by itself. It can accommodate the fact that each process is different. People may want Thrive contracts to supply oil, gas, and coal. Others may want them to sell to others, and yet others still may be looking to crystallize them. The chain can register all these differences, and when the Thrive contract is sold to nature, the chain becomes a Thrive coin. This makes blockchain the natural choice to implement Thrive contracts. The physical oil and gas and coal associated with contracts are registered onto the chain. Anyone looking can now identify the physical location of the associated oil and gas and coal. You can now keep track of the uses that may happen. When the chain becomes a coin, the change is irreversible. Today, blockchains are used to certify and trace legalized cannabis products. They are used to verify the sustainability history of materials. They keep ownership records of works of art. They allow a single piece of art to have multiple owners and for each partial ownership to be sold and resold freely. This is precisely what is needed for Thrive contracts. Thrive contracts as blockchains can identify if a product or service has been produced using energy supplied from the associated oil and gas and coal. Apps can be created to help customers make their choice. This helps businesses that still need oil and gas and coal to benefit by being part of the roadmap. Imagine someone buys a Thrive contract to supply a barrel of oil. The Thrive contract is created as a blockchain. The buyer is now the owner of the chain. The owner would be registered on the chain so that no one can fake it. The chain would also register the physical location of the associated barrel of oil. If the contract is sold to another, then the new ownership record is registered. This allows the physical ownership of the oil to change hands. When the eventual owner requests the oil to be produced, then the chain registers this request to the production company. It can include specifics of how it's to be delivered, details of payments for extraction, and so on. That makes it entirely autonomous. When the oil is produced, some may be sold to petrochemicals to make petrochemicals and the rest sold to make fuel. In this case, the chain would divide into two subchains. The petrochemical owner and the fuel refiner would each own one of these two subchains. Subchains would carry the information of the parent chain. This thus provides information on where the oil came from. They will each carry the information on how much of the original oil they represent and how it is used. When resources derived from different Thrive contracts are brought together, the chains themselves can reconnect. This makes it possible to trace the Thrive provenance of any product. Suppose a Windows manufacturer uses pure renewable energy to make windows for houses. It may use Thrive contracts to supply petrochemicals. The renewable energy company may also sell Thrive contracts to nature to keep the oil and gas and coal it is not using in the ground. The Windows manufacturer will get all this information and propagate it to their windows. People can then decide if they prefer this manufacturer's windows to another. Different processes can have their own validation. Each commercial community can express its own preference. In aggregate, the chains themselves give information on how much oil and gas and coal is being used, will be used, and has been kept in the ground and will be kept in the ground. That together gives shape to the roadmap for oil and gas and coal. So that's that part of this. That's the end of this section. There, the next one is going to be part 3. It's going to be on the new economics that comes from this. So we pause here for today. How are you? So, any thoughts on that? Not yet? Okay, don't worry about that. So, there you go. Thriving at Nature's Pace. It's my book about a new approach to climate change, and I'm reading it with my mum, Eleanor. And we've been doing it for about half a year so far. That's fantastic. We started just after November. It's getting on to March. So,
you dropped it.
yeah, I dropped it. Okay, all right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
great day. God
Bye-bye.
bless. Bye-bye.